Okay, so the next one is no money equals no presents for friends slash embarrassment. Yeah, pretty self explanatory. Obviously, if you don't have enough money to give you, if you have 10 friends, then that means you need to buy 10 birthday presents or 10 Christmas presents. And I know some people would say, oh, but if you have understanding friends and they won't expect presents from you. But the reality is that if people are being generous to you, it's very, very difficult for you not to feel like you want to be generous back to them. But if you just don't have the financial means, it can be very difficult. Also, just, going out to dinner or a nightclub or whatever, it is expensive, and some people just cannot afford that. So therefore, it could impact their friendships and their social life. And it kind of makes sense why some people. It's kind of like dating, really. It'd be very hard to have no money and also date, if that makes sense. So no money equals hard to have friends a little bit. So the next one is controversial, but maybe you are just a bad friend. Maybe that's the reason why I don't have friends. So being a bad friend doesn't automatically make you a bad person, of course. Some people are bad at romance, but that doesn't mean that they're a bad person. Maybe you just struggle to communicate or open up. Yeah, so that is literally me. I am definitely a bad friend. I am one of those people where I think I've replied, like somebody will message me, and I think that I have replied to that message because I've looked at it, and then it'll be a day later or a week later and I'll look at the message again and I'll be like, I wonder why they didn't reply to my reply. I'll go back and I realize I didn't reply. I just looked at the message and thought I'd replied. So I'm one of the worst repliers and communicators ever. So yeah, I think it's important, if you are struggling with friendships, is to look inward at yourself and see if there's any things that you can work on as well, because maybe you aren't the best friend. Again, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means maybe there are some things that you can work on as well. The next point is never become friends based on something negative. So for example, Carol and Georgina, their whole friendship is based on the fact that they hate Louise. So it's just a very negative reason to stay friends with someone, to become friends with someone. And I wrote, so e.g., yeah, as in negative things, e.g., gossip, loneliness, the dislike of something or someone. You really want to have a friendship that's based on maybe something positive, like you both like, a TV show together, you both like a sport together, something that's sort of nice, as opposed to we hate this person or thing or whatever. In regards to the loneliness part, that is something that I have learned, which is you cannot base a friendship on the fact that you are two lonely people and you just think, well, we're both lonely, we might as well become friends. It never works out unless you have something, a deeper connection. Then it's gonna end in disaster. Trust me on that. I've done that before. The next one is we are not entitled to friends or romance. I think I mentioned this in a video I made a long time ago called Being Single, and yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. Basically, when you were born, the only thing that you were promised is that you would have a parent or guardian take care of you, like as a kid, as a baby and stuff, take care of you until you were able to look after yourself. That was the only thing that you were entitled to, or that you were promised to. This idea that you are entitled to romance or friendship is just not true. When you were born, nobody said that. It's just a thing that I think the problem is that a lot of TV shows and movies obviously only focus on people's lives who actually do experience romance and friendships, but actually a lot of people don't experience those things or don't have the opportunity to experience those things. So I think, because obviously that would be considered too like sad or boring to follow someone around in terms of a movie or TV show where they don't have romance or friendships, right? But yeah, we're not entitled to it. If it happens, that's really wonderful and great, but we're also not entitled to it. So if you sort of expect it to automatically happen, you might be disappointed, because sometimes it literally doesn't happen and you're just completely alone in life. So the attitude of I wish / demand I had 6 friends versus I'm so grateful for my one friend. That is so me. I used to be that I wish I had, whereas now I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky. I literally have like 2 friends and I'm the luckiest person in the world, and I can't believe it because I don't deserve one friend, let alone 2. So, but yeah, I just think that is, you might as well be grateful for the things that you have and the people that you have in your life, as opposed to pining for, or wishing or demanding that you had all these other people in your life, particularly if, you're not doing anything about it to change it. Which that was literally me back in the day. I'm not going to do anything to actually try and change the situation, but I'm going to complain about it forever. So the next point is the TV show Friends is unrealistic. Yeah, so that's very true. So in the TV show Friends, which I guess that's sort of known for what an example of what friendship is, the friends are almost like the 6 friends in that show are almost like orphans. In real life, they would actually have a lot of other friends outside that friendship group, and they also would probably have stronger family ties. Whereas in the show, they heavily rely on each other sort of emotionally, whereas I think in real life they probably would have other friends, and they'd also have probably their family to also provide that emotional support and stuff. But in that show, those 6 friends are very like, you know what I mean. And the 90s the 90s made friendship more face to face. Obviously nowadays people are more likely, after work or school or whatever, they're more likely to group chat than actually every afternoon go to a coffee shop and meet up literally every day, multiple times a day. That just seems a little crazy in our modern world, if that makes sense. So one of the last things on the list of things that I've written, which is perfect timing because the sun's about to set, is finding a true friend is like finding a romantic soulmate. It is hard and rare. That pretty much sums it up. I think that I was misled when I was younger as well, as though friendship was so much different to romance, because romance is you specifically have to find somebody that is very, very compatible with you and very all these things. But actually in friendship you kind of need a lot of those things as well. You need a lot of that compatibility or something you guys click on some level, if that makes sense. One of the final things that I want to say is there is a video by The School of Life which is really, really good, and it essentially says that there's nothing wrong with breaking down different types of friendships, that there are different types of friendships. So you might have the fun friend that you go out and you party with, then you have the networking friendship which you help them and they help you in a job way or in a whatever way, and then you have the deeper emotional friend, the thinking friend, who obviously you have maybe more emotional or intellectual conversations with, and all of those are valid. Another thing to not get too upset about, because I used to get upset about this, is situational friendship. There's nothing wrong with it. You're in school with someone and you guys are friends while you're in school together, but once you guys leave school, the friendship just doesn't seem to hold up the same thing if you work with someone, but then when one of you leaves the workplace, it isn't quite the same. But situational friendship, there's nothing wrong with it, but there's also nothing wrong with when the situation ends or changes. There's nothing wrong with the fact that the friendship also changes or ends. So don't worry too much. Things change, people change and situations change, so it makes sense why friendships change as well. Anyway guys, I know this video wasn't helpful in terms of like how to make a friend, because that's the whole point. Is I don't think that there is a one way to make a friend. I think it's quite difficult, and I think that obviously if you stay alone inside your house or inside your room, you're way less likely to make a friend than if you go out and you try and partake in things. So obviously leaving the house is probably a good idea. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a lovely day, and I will see you next time.